Here is the main control piece for the Bousnic pink and black training collar that we got. Here's a closer look at it, and we chose the pink and black one right here. Here's the on-off switch. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on. You can see the LED monitor right here, giving us a level H2 right here. You can see the battery charging is 3 out of the 4. So we got a good charge on this. All right, so on the Bousnic training collar, you have 3 modes here. You have the beep mode, the vibrate mode, and the shock mode. To adjust the beep mode, you're gonna hold this down, push the top little part here in, and you can see you can adjust the sound of the beep. The next mode, guys, is the vibrate mode. Now, push the vibrate mode here. You're gonna turn this, and you can see you can go up and down on the vibrate mode. So I'm pushing this little button in here and turning it. This knob right here is how you adjust the levels. And finally, the shock mode right here. So you can adjust the level of the shock, okay? Now, depending on the size of your dog, you might not want to use the shock level, or if your dog has used a training collar before and they are very familiar with it, you know, the shock mode might not be necessary. You might only need the vibrate mode. Now here's the main piece that goes on the collar. So here's the collar, and it's long, so obviously you can adjust it to your dog's size and cut off the excess that you don't need. You can, so it's plenty big for most size dogs. Now my dog is small, so we're not going to need all of that right there. Right, here's the charging cables right here. Pull it tight like that. There we go. So now we've got a nice little handheld adjustable. It's also got a little piece right here that you can go up and down with to adjust the tightness. And you can get it tighter around your wrist if you want to do that. This is the main piece that slides on the collar right here. So you would slide this, you know, through there on one side, right? And around on the other side right there. So now you've got it. And then remember, this is going to need to be up against the dog's skin part right here. Here's a little charging port on the piece that goes on the collar. All right, there's a little charging port. You flip that up. There's a little charging port right there. So you're going to have to charge this, you know, every few days or so. And here's the on-off button at the top right here. Turn it on. I'm going to hold it. All right, so we're on vibrate mode, so it just vibrated. All right. Go back to this, and there's our beep mode. That's how you would beep the dog right there. So I put that on the 1 right here on the Bousnic training collar, and that's the highest, loudest sound. Continuing to take a look at what we got right here. These are little prongs that touch the dog's skin, okay? Now, if your dog is bigger and maybe more of a problem, then maybe this will be okay. Now, my dog is small, has thin hair, already has thin skin underneath her neck area. So we're likely not gonna leave these little metal pieces on here, all right? So all you gotta do is just unscrew these. Let's take a look at what they have for us. Look, they have a built-in little tool here that'll help you with this. So you just slide this on here. There you go. So you're gonna put the little tool on there and just turn to loosen these off. Now it's loose. You can unscrew these and leave them off if you don't want to use the shock part. So my wife's very concerned about shocking the dog. Feels like that's not necessary. These little pieces here, you can still use the vibrate mode. They'll feel it probably still with the little pieces here exposed. And then you won't have these little pieces digging into the skin. Now, if your dog has long hair, and this is not going to be a problem for some dogs, right? Here's a spare pair of, here's a spare prong, metal prong right here. If you lose one, lose a pair. There's another ones right here. And these appear to be the same length, it looks like. And we also have some little rubber pieces to go over the prongs. So you could use those to cover up the prong. If you're not sure, if you don't want to undo the little shocking prongs all the time, you could push these little pieces over it you know, that would be another option, or to maybe lessen the effect, or they could still feel it maybe a little bit. I'm really not sure about that, but that's included. So you got 4 little pieces to go over the metal stinging parts in the Bousnic shock collar. You have a built-in tool to go with it right here. You have a charging cable right here. You have a carrying handle that you can attach like I've done here. Feel it vibrating. There's one of the beep modes. Again, beeps a lot louder. You adjust that. And then finally, the shock mode is right here. You would have to have those pieces in here. I'm not going to shock myself. Shock your dog if they've never had one of these. Shock the dog maybe, you know, just a couple times. If they're doing something really bad, going out into the street. Our little dog ran out into the street recently, ran out the front door, and that little dog is a runner. You know, she goes and she doesn't know about cars and things. She only runs around the backyard. But she always wants to run to the door every time we're coming in from somewhere, coming in with groceries or whatever. So she's running out in the yard all the time, and we always freak out. She runs around, and the other day she ran out into the street. So that is dangerous. If there's a car that was coming, if you shock your dog a couple of times and then they associate this collar, they know they can be shocked. But if you do the beep sound, that beep sound will be many times enough to where they'll know, hey, you better come in or you're going to get shocked or you're going to get, you know, buzzed on, right? So the beep sound, it's amazing. They hear that beep, they know, hey, you better come in or I'm gonna vibrate you, buzz you, or I'm gonna even shock you if need be, right? So that has been really cool and really effective. A lot of times we let the little dog in the backyard and she doesn't wanna come in when I'm ready for her to come in. You do the little sound, boom, here she comes. Because she knows if she doesn't, she may get buzzed or shocked. The Bousnic shock collar is going to be exactly what we need to keep our little dog safe from hurting herself, running down the street. Keep your dog safe, help your dog to learn what you need for the dog to be a good pet. This is going to be exactly what will help us at our house. And maybe this will work for you.